Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to this fourth episode, Mantra 3 of the Īśopaniṣad, and I'm very sorry that I couldn't join with that old link. Just give me a little time. I will share this new link with everyone so that everyone can hop in. Just give me a few seconds. All right. I think some of you have already come on. I will just send it to the rest of them as well. So the link expires in 10 minutes. So if I don't come on in time, then yeah, that's what happens. I'm very sorry for that. I got stuck actually. So okay, we have few more invites to go and then we are done. All right, I think that should do. Thank you very much for coming on. And once again, I apologize for the little bit confusion in that link. It's because I went a little late. And that link expires in 10 minutes. If I don't come on within 10 minutes, that means 7:30 is the scheduled time. By 7:40, if I don't hop on, then it expires. So, I'm sorry about that. Okay, now we will quickly go to the verse itself. Īśopaniṣad, Mantra 3. And I request the moderators to share it with on our Facebook page as well. I hope they have done it. All right, thank you very much. So let us chant this word to word. Asurya. So repeat after me each word. Nama te lokah. We are looking at this, the word to word section, not the verse itself, the word to word section here. Andhena tamasa avritah tan te pretya abhigachanti ye ke cha atmahanah janah. All right, line to line. Asuryanam te loka Andhena tamasāvritaah tamste pretyabhigachanti ye kechatmahano janah asuryanam te loka andhena tamasāvritaah tamste pretyabhigachanti ye kechatmahano janah asuryanam te loka andhena tamasāvritaah tamste pretyabhigachanti ye kechatmahano janah. Word to word. Asuryah, meant for the asuras. Nama, famous by the name. Te, those. Lokah, planets. Andhena, by ignorance. Tamasa, by darkness. Avrita, covered. Tan, those planets. Te, they. Pretya, after death. Abhigachanti, enter into. Ye, anyone. Ke, everyone. Cha, and. Atmahana, the killers of the soul. Janah, persons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Please repeat. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, we will map the English to the Sanskrit. Asurya nama te loka. Planets known as the worlds of the faithless. Loka means planets. Asurya nama means the famous by the name Asura. So meant for the asura. Asurya means meant for the asuras. So nama, famous by the name. Te loka. So planets known as the worlds of the faithless is the first line. Andhena tamasāvritaah, covered by ignorance and darkness. You see, full. Avrita means to be covered. And tamasāvritaah, andhena tamasāvrita. Andhena means by darkness. So Kṛṣṇena, I hope you remember the verse. Mukundamala Stotra, 43rd verse. Kṛṣṇena akhila shatravo vinehataah. Kṛṣṇena means by Kṛṣṇa. So andhena means by. Andha means darkness. Ignorance, sorry. Tamasa, darkness, same thing. So andhena tamasāvritaah. Tamste pretyabhigachanti. So they, pretya means after death. Abhigachanti, go. After death, they go there. So, you see, after death is not mentioned here in the translation. But if you see in the word to word, pretya means after death. So, he must enter into the planets. Must enter is pretya abhigachanti. Enter into, abhigachanti. Gachanti means to go, abhigachanti means to enter into. There is also a version of going, but especially entering into. So must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless. It's already in the first line. Tamste pretyabhigachanti. Yeke chatma hano janaha. Atmahana means one who is killer of the soul. So that is here. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be. That is cha atma hano hanaha janaha. Janah means people. So the people who are the killers of the souls, they go to the darkest planets or the planets of the atheists where they are punished. So how can a soul be killed first of all? What is this killer of the soul? So of course the soul cannot be killed, but whenever it can be both two things. Killing of the body. That means, why is it called killing of the soul then? So whenever we jeopardize the progress of a particular soul in its natural course of evolution, don't think in terms of Darwin. That is not the correct understanding of evolution. Evolution means, Darwin says, okay, from monkey man came, one form of life adapted and changed into another and morphed into another. So that's not how we understand from Vedas. There is an evolution, but not of the body, but the consciousness of the soul. So, or the covering of the consciousness is gradually removed. So that is the evolution. That means all the 8.4 million life forms, the species, have always been in existence. Now the soul passes through one body to the next higher body, to the next higher body, to the next higher body. How you know higher or lower? It's how much we are covered or uncovered by the three modes. The more one is covered by the ignorance, the more one is lower down in the scale of the species. I think maybe we can go through these Srimad Bhagavatam verses to get an idea. In the 5th canto, 5th chapter, 21st verse, if I am not wrong, 21st and 22nd verses, here we have 5.5.21 and 22. Bhuteshu virudbhya udattamaye sarisripasteshu sabodhanishthah tato manushyaha pramathastatopi gandharva siddha vibudhanugaye devasurebhyo maghavat pradhana dakshadayo brahma sutastu tesham bhavah parahso thavirincha viryah samatparoham dvijadeva devah. Of the two energies manifest, spirit and dull matter, beings possessing living force, vegetables, grass, trees and plants, are superior to dull matter, stone, earth, etc. Superior to non-moving plants and vegetables are worms and snakes, which can move. Superior to worms and snakes are animals that have developed intelligence. Superior to animals are human beings. Superior to human beings are ghosts, because they have no material bodies, especially gross bodies. They have subtle bodies though. Superior to ghosts are the Gandharvas, and superior to them are the Siddhas. Superior to the Siddhas are the Kinnaras, and superior to them are the Asuras. Superior to the Asuras are the demigods or Devatas, and of the demigods, Indra, the king of heaven, is supreme. Superior to Indra are the direct sons of Lord Brahma, sons like King Daksha, and supreme among Brahma's sons is Lord Shiva. Since Lord Shiva is the son of Lord Brahma, Brahma is considered superior, but Brahma is also subordinate to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because I am inclined to the Brahmanas are the best of all. So these are the gradations of living entities. I think a similar description is also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Madhya Leela, chapter 19. I guess it's 144 if I am not wrong. Let's see. Maybe 45. You see, 44. So Chaitanya Charitamrita 19.144. The unlimited living entities can be divided into two divisions, those that can move and those that cannot move. Among living entities that can move, there are birds, aquatics and animals. Next, although the living entities known as human beings are very small in quantity, that division may be still further subdivided, for there are many uncultured human beings like Mlechas, Pulindas, Bauddhas and Shabaras. So here, there's a different focus on the division. In the earlier division in the Bhagavatam, we have the exact species, and then the human beings, and then the higher human beings, which are the demigods and different versions of the sub-demigods, the ghosts, the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Siddhas, Charanas, and Asuras, Devas, and Brahma's sons, and Brahma, and then the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And finally, of course, he put the Brahmanas even above him. Here, there's a little bit different. Among the human species, there is more division here. Although the living entities known as human beings are very small in quantity, that division may be still further subdivided, for there are many uncultured human beings like Mlechas, Pulindas, Bauddhas and Shabaras. So Mlechas are they are those who are below Vedic standards, especially where Pulindas, like for example, Pulindas are Greeks, Bauddhas are the Buddhists, because they don't follow the Vedic scriptures. Bauddhas, what is that? Vedana Mania, Bauddha Hoita Nastik. So Buddhists are atheists because they don't believe in God. Because Buddha himself rejected the Vedas. Once we reject the the word of God, it's as good as rejecting God himself, because there's no difference between God and his word. So Pulindas, Bauddhas and Shabaras, actually they are tribals. So the Shabari, the famous devotee of Lord Ramachandra. So Shabaras are actually the tribals, like the Aborigines. So these classes of people are uncultured human beings. So even as among human beings, in the modern terms it is classified as race of human beings, but in Vedic standard, they are all different species of human beings. So when we say Varna Sankara means when there is intermixing between different species, which is very common nowadays. Interracial marriages and interracial. So this is called Varna Sankara. Of course, it also means actually Sankara means mix. So when there is a mixture, then that is Sankara. Like even Prabhupada explained that Shankaracharya was son of what? In fact, even in the mixture, there is Anuloma and Pratiloma marriages. These are all very technical. Anuloma means where the husband is of a higher caste and the woman is of a lower caste. And Pratiloma is where the husband is of a lower caste and the wife is of a higher caste. So usually, even if there is a mixture between marriages in the caste means again not by birth, by quality, but usually in the past, by birth, it used to be by quality also, because a Brahmana's son, for example, he would be trained in the Brahmanical way, and it used to be always be that even though it's from birth, they used to have those qualities eventually. Although there are exceptions in the Vedas where there is, like Parshuram, he is the son of a Brahmana, but then he became Kshatriya. So like that. Or even Kṛṣṇa also, first when he came, he behaved as a Vaishya, in the Vaishya community, agriculturists and cow protection. So and then later on assumed the role of a Kshatriya. So in this way, there have been instances where people have been born in one Varna and then they actually belong to another Varna because of their qualities. But usually, for example, we see in history that the father is the king and then the son becomes the next king and then his son becomes the next king. So this was not exactly nepotism, but they actually possessed Kshatriya qualities, because of which they could lead the kingdom next. So they had that in their blood, not only in their blood but also in their training. To have in the blood is not enough, they should have the training as well. So like for example, even Hiranyakashipu, he was a son of a Brahmana, even Ravana was a son of a Brahmana, but then they went on to become Kshatriyas. Of course, the demons. But so this is so these things are there. There's a whole big science. So Sankara is a mixture. And Suta Goswami, Suta means one whose father is of a lower caste and mother is of higher caste. So that is like a Pratiloma marriage. Usually Anuloma, even if there is mixture, Anuloma is preferred over Pratiloma. But then sometimes with the association of a pure devotee, anything can happen. Even the worst fallen soul can be delivered, like the Mrigari, who was completely a tribal and like a completely fallen soul, but he was delivered because of the mercy of Narad Muni. So these things can happen. There is another verse which we will go to after these few verses, which explain the gradations of human beings. So we have the uncultured human beings, and yeah, I was mentioning about Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya's father and mother also were not of the same caste. I forgot whether the father is of a Brahmana and mother is of a Shudra or the other way around. I forgot. So, but yeah, this is the difference. So Prabhupada was mentioning that in one of his lectures, but I forgot the details. So now, next verse. Among human beings, now uncultured are a few. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. So the uncultured, they don't follow. All the people mentioned like the Mlechas, Pulindas, Yavanas, Shabaras, all these people, they are below Vedic culture. They don't even follow the Vedic civilization. But those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. You see again how there is gradation. They're followers of Vedic civilization, but they offer lip service. They don't really follow. They just say and they don't follow. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. Then, among the followers of Vedic knowledge, now who actually follow, not the lip service people, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. So, for those who actually follow, like Vedavada Rataha Partha, they are into all this Karmakanda Yajnas and all that. They want to go to the heavenly planets. So, this is their interest. Their interest is just to be in the material world, in a better situation in the material world. So, those kind of people are the majority of the followers of Vedic literature. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin vettimam tattvataha. 1 in a million is a devotee. But here we have not come to the point of devotee yet. Wise only. Wise means who understands that he is not the body and he is a soul, he has nothing to do with this material world. That person is called a jnani. He has knowledge. It's not that he has ultimate knowledge, his transcendental knowledge has begun. Even he is called a jnani if one's transcendental knowledge has begun. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, Mukhya, and out of many millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa is very difficult to find. See this? Koti jnani madhye hoy ek jan mukta, koti mukta madhye durlabha ek Kṛṣṇa bhakta. Now, because the devotee of Kṛṣṇa is desireless, he is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment, jnanis desire liberation, and yogis desire material opulence. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Kṛṣṇa bhakta nishkam ataiva shanta, bhukti mukti siddhikami sakaliya shanta. So, this is a very famous verse. Prabhupada many times quoted it. So, a pure devotee, and among pure devotees, there is also more gradation. What is that gradation? This is from the nectar of instruction. Karmibhyah parito hare priyataya vyaktim yayurjnaninas tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaika nisthastata tebhyastah pashupala pankajadrishas tabhyopi saradhika Prestha tadvadiyam tadiya sarasi tam nashrayet kah kriti. You see, this is the 10th verse of the nectar of instruction. Here it is said, in the Shastra it is said that of all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Kṛṣṇa, is superior to him. Now, until here we have already read in the previous verses in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, the gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Śrī Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, the Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Kṛṣṇa. Her Kunda lake, Radha Kund, is as profoundly dear to Lord Kṛṣṇa as this most beloved of the gopis. Who will then not reside at Radha Kund and in a spiritual body surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, aprakrita bhava, render loving service to the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Ashtakaliya Leela, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe. So, see, now you get an idea of the gradations of life. So, on what basis are they graded as higher or lower? According to how much their original nature of the soul is revealed. Why I showed you all these verses? Because the higher or lower species is based on how much our original consciousness is revealed. So in the absolute, like downtrodden species like the fish or the trees, it's almost completely covered. Andhena tamasa avrita, today's verse. I hope you remember that. So avrita means covered. That is very important. We are covered. You see, andhena tamasa avritaha. Avrita means covered. And how much that covering is progressively removed, that much higher the species is counted as. That's it. And pure devotees, the jnani is more than a karmik, bhakta is more than a jnani. All these, why? Their consciousness even more removed. That covering of that three modes is even more removed and even more removed. The pure consciousness is there, only of the devotee. So, I wanted to show another verse before we go further. We haven't gone to the purport yet. So here, 2:4:18. Here, 2.4.18 Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirata honandhra pulinda pulkasha abhira shumbha yavanaha khasadayah yenye cha papa yadapashrayashrayah shuddhyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kirata, Hona, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, members of the Khasa races and even others addicted to the sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to His being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. You see, all these mentions, Kirat means the blacks, the blacks. Hona means the Hungarians. The Andhra is where I come from. So I'm one of these. So actually, in Andhra Pradesh, there is a particular mountain tribe. In Telugu, we call them Kondajati. So they are actually these ones, these Andhra. They are tribals. They are very, very black in color. So the Andhra Pradesh, the state where I come from, is actually named after them, those tribals. So those people. Kirata, Hona, Andhra. Pulinda means the Greeks. Pulkasha, I forgot. It's actually, you see here, Andhra. Okay, here Kirata is also mentioned as a province of old Bharatvarsha, mentioned in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharat. Generally, the Kiratas are known as the aboriginal tribes of India, and modern days the Santal Pargans in Bihar and Chota Nagpur might comprise the old province named Kirat. Also, Prabhupada mentioned the blacks as Kiratas also. Then there is Pulanda, Abhira, Pulkasha, I don't know whether it's mentioned, but the Abhira, these are the Arabs. Abhiras are the Arabs, the Persians. They were actually, you see, these Abhiras were also formerly Kshatriyas within the Brahmanical culture, but they gave up the connection. The Kshatriyas who were afraid of Parashuram and had hidden themselves in the Caucasian hilly regions later on became known as Abhiras, and the place they inhabited was known as Abhirdesh. And later it became Arab. Shumbhas, Kanka province of the old Bharat, I don't know where they are. Yavanas, Maharaji Yayati, sons of Maharaj Yayati, and the Turks are called the Yavanas. Khasa are the generally, they have stunted growth of hair on the upper lip, so they are the Chinese, Asian breed. So they are the Khasa, and Adaya more than them. So all of these people are below Vedic culture. They have forgotten Vedic culture, but even any of them, if they take shelter of a devotee, pure devotee, they can be elevated. So that is that verse 2.4.18. And a similar verse is also there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, very famous verse. Prabhupada always quoted it. Canto 3, chapter 33, text 7. Devahuti is saying, Aho batashvapachoto gariyan yajjihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhuvuh sasnurarya brahmano churnama grananti yete. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the family of dog eaters, they are called Chandalas. They are also another breed of people who are below the Vedic culture. They eat dogs. So even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. So you get an idea of all the different grades. So again, when we talk about higher or lower, is how much their consciousness is revealed, the original consciousness. So the killer of the soul means when we stop this progress, Atmahana, that means the soul is supposed to progress from one to next to the next to the next to the next. Especially so in the case of animals, even in the human beings, but in animals, they naturally go to the next higher species and the next higher species and the next. In this way, they go from one species to the next in all the 8.4 million species of life. 8 million, and then they come to human forms, and then after uncultured living beings, and they come to cultured living beings. So in this way, they slowly rise in the evolutionary ladder. Now, but all these species are already in existence. It's just that the soul, when it dies, then it accepts the next higher. So that progress. So when a person kills the animal, what he is doing is that the animal is supposed to live for a certain period of time in that body, but then he artificially stopped it. And because he has done that, he has interfered with the natural progress of the soul. And that's why it is bad. It's not just because the animal is, now it's a dead body. The real violence is that he has stopped the natural progress of that particular soul. And same thing, it has to, it is, Prabhupada explained like inconvenience. Like for example, if I am staying in a house and somebody, if I am paying rent in a house and I am staying there, and if somebody just comes and evicts me out of that place and forcibly throws me out on the street, then that's burglary, or that's that's against the law. That's criminal. So I can complain to justice, and I can get justice, and that person will be punished. Similarly, this is like that eviction. That eviction is what is the crime. So to stop the general progress of the soul, and therefore Acharyas have described that not preaching Krishna consciousness is also violence, because you're not, after having attained human life, one is supposed to advance in devotional life. The progress of human life is when one advances in devotional life, and a devotee has to enable others to advance in this. And if he stops their advancement by not preaching to them when there is a chance to preach, that is violence. This is why not preaching is violence. It is not about that. These are called killers of the souls. And of course, if we kill ourselves in the sense that we don't execute devotional service, then this valuable human life that exists for about maybe a very few years, that is lost. The opportunity is lost, and again we go into this cycle of birth and death for millions of years. So that's why this whole thing is a problem. It's a violence. Okay. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. Now, just try to understand the flow in the Īśopaniṣad now. The first, of course, the invocation mantra is from the Brihadaranyaka. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Was that? No. Was what Upanishad? It was, I forgot the Upanishad. 5th chapter, 1st verse of some Upanishad. So, that was the first. So, Om Purnamadaha, that he is the complete whole, and then everything that comes from him is complete. There is no need of any extraneous endeavor to make it complete. One has to just accept it. Whatever is given to him as his quota, that's the verse 1. So, whatever is given to him by Kṛṣṇa as his quota, use that, and rest of the time use in self-realization. And not try to make it so-called complete, because it's already Purnamada. That verse is there to remind us of that. It's not that the nature, Krishna's creation is something incomplete, we need something else to make it enhanced and complete. No, that's wrong. So everything is there in Krishna's creation. So we just have to accept whatever is necessary for us and then use the rest of the time in self-realization. And the next verse, like what we studied yesterday, was if we can work on those principles, Īśāvāsamidam sarvam, that everything belongs to the Lord. He just gave me on rental and whatever I have, and I should just use whatever is necessary for me, bare necessities. If I do have any excess, I should use it in the charity, especially in the propagation of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So if we can live on this way, then we can live for hundreds of years. We can live for hundreds and thousands of years, like the Lomarsha Muni we have studied. So we can live thousands of years without incurring any sin or piety, material sin or material piety. So this is called akarma. So we can then the bondage of work is not there. Kurvan neveha karmani jijivishe chatam samah evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare. So he is not bound by the karma. Now what if we don't do this? What if we go on the suicidal path? That is here, Atmahano Jana. Atmahana means like Atmahatya, suicidal, or killer of the soul. Atma means soul. So that is, killing of the animals, which is impeding their natural progress of evolution, and also not preaching to humans, not helping them rise to the spiritual standard. That is also Atmahana. But killing our own self, that is also Atmahana or Atmahatya. So this is suicidal. So whoever follows a suicidal path, what is a suicidal path? Not accepting these principles of Īśāvāsamidam sarvam. That's when, actually that is the basis of sinful activity. When they don't accept Īśāvāsamidam sarvam, that everything belongs to the Lord. They think, the animals are meant for our enjoyment. Let's kill it and eat it. So they don't accept Īśāvāsamidam sarvam. They are all the property of the Lord, children of the Lord. They are our brothers and sisters, so we can't kill them. So they don't think like this. So Īśāvāsamidam sarvam conception is lost. Similarly, when not preaching, also the Īśāvāsa conception is lost, because Īśāvāsa means everything and everyone belongs to Kṛṣṇa. And Kṛṣṇa says, Aham bija pradah pita sarva yonishu kaunteya. Of all species of life, I am the father. So everyone is his child, and therefore universal brotherhood is built on that principle. But then if we don't consider them as part of our own family, our vast spiritual family of Kṛṣṇa, and then we don't preach and help them rise above, rise to the platform of devotional service, then that is also not understanding the Īśāvāsa conception. So you see how many layers there are, how many different angles there are of understanding the Īśāvāsa conception and what constitutes disobedience of that conception. It's not just a conception, it's a fact. It's just the idea to not have that idea, or to have that idea, that understanding, in fact. So here the killer of the soul is the person who does not have the Īśāvāsa conception in any of these angles. If he is doing harm to his own self by not engaging in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, that is Atmahana. So whoever does all these things must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So now we will read through the purport. We have a long way to cover actually. And it's an important topic. So purport, human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. You see, not just responsibility, heavy responsibility. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. So suras or devotees, they are ones who understand the responsibility of human life, and when they act on those in that spirit, yes, they are called suras. Asuras are those who don't work in that spirit. They don't work in the Ishavasa conception. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Not necessarily that they have horns, fangs and a horrible face. No, they can be very, very smart and they can be very intelligent materially. Maya pahrata jnana. They may be very, beautiful to look at, everything. If the person doesn't have, who is neglectful of the Ishavasa conception, he is a asura. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human being. Where is the verse? Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin. Dvau bhuta sargau loke. See? Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila, chapter 3, verse 91. This is from the Padma Puran. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha Vishnu bhaktah smrito daiva asurastad viparyayah. There are two classes of men in the created world. One consists of the demoniac, another of the godly. The devotees of the Lord Vishnu are the godly, whereas those who are just the opposite are called demons. It's two kinds of people. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. That's why sun is called Surya. Surya means the destination of the suras. That means on the sun planet, everybody is a devotee of Kṛṣṇa. Although they are not pure devotees yet, they may be pure devotees also, just like on the earth. Not all are pure, but there are some pure devotees also, right? So in the sun also there is a higher percentage of pure devotees, and generally all of them are devotees also. And in fact, the sun, the orbit of the sun is the entrance to the heavenly realm, the Svargaloka. And there all the planets are all heavenly, and all those start from the orbit of the sun. And therefore, anybody who goes above the orbit of the sun, he is called Asura, because that's why it is also, sun is called Surya, the destination of the Suras. Now, what is this mantra in the Rig Veda that states that the Suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu? Om tad Vishnoh paramam padam sada pashyanti surayah diviva chakshuratatam tad vipraso vipanyavo jagrivamsa samindhate Vishnoryat paramam padam. So they always, sada pashyanti suraya, always they see the lotus feet of Vishnu. Om tad Vishnoh paramam padam, the supreme lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. They always see, sada pashyanti suraya, diviva chakshuratatam, with the eye of the diviva, I think is sun. Tad vipraso vipanyavo jagravam samindhate Vishnoryat paramam padam. So this is the Rig Veda mantra. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. Kindly excuse me. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen And the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breezes that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. If, with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Śrī Īśopaniṣad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually. So, this is actually a verse. This solid boat and the Vedic scriptures and acharyas as the favorable breezes, this is all a verse. If you study Srila Prabhupada's purports closely, each of his sentences is actually the translation of a verse somewhere. That's how our speech should be controlled, by always quoting Vedic scriptures. What is that? 29, is this the one? No, not this. 11:20. 11th canto, chapter 20, text 17. This is the verse. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to like this verse very much. And in fact, he even shed tears when chanting this verse. Because, this verse explains the valuable opportunity of human life, and when he thought of how people are wasting away this valuable opportunity, so he was shedding tears, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as he was chanting this verse. Nirdehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabdhim nataretsa atmaha. Atmaha, you see this? Atmahana, today's verse, and here is Atmaha, same thing. Now, let's see. Here, Atmaha means the killer of his own soul. The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature, although it is a very rare achievement. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat. You see that just now in that purport, Prabhupada was mentioning this analogy. This is from this verse, 11:20-17. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds impelling it on its course. You see, the instructions of the personality of Godhead are the favorable winds, and the human body is the boat, and the spiritual master is the captain. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. That means if we abandon the instruction of the spiritual master, then we are on the suicidal path. That is explained in the 10th canto, 87, chapter 33rd verse. We have shown that many times in these live streams. Maybe we can go there again. But you see, killer of his own soul. If we don't take advantage of this human form of life to achieve Kṛṣṇa consciousness, we are killers of our own souls. And that, how can we fail when we have a boat, perfectly constructed boat, and the sail is catching the wind? Now, let's take this example and understand it objectively and imagine this whole thing. Now, there is a boat, and then there is a sail. And the wind, if you can catch the wind with the sail, and it will nicely go in the direction that it is, the wind is taking it. So, the instructions of the personality of Godhead and the Acharya, they are the wind impelling it on its course. So, the wind is always towards the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. So, because the instructions will take us there if we follow. But then the problem comes when we want to go against the wind. When you want to take control of the ship and not listen to the captain, and you take control of the ship and go against the wind, now you're going to have trouble. If you can catch the wind and go in its course, it will be smooth. It will be very smooth. But if you want to go against it, then trouble. That's why there is so much suffering in this world, because we want to go against the grain, against the wind, against those instructions. That's when the whole trouble starts. So that's why it is said in this This verse is connected to this other verse, 1087:33, that we have shown a few times here in the live streams, but we will go again because it's directly connected. What is this? Vijita Hrishika Vayubhir. This is actually 17 syllables, but the tune that goes with it is Vijita Hrishika Vayubhiradanta Manasturagam Ya iha yatanti yantum matilolam upaya kheda Vyasana shatanvita sama vahaya guros charanam Vanija ivaja santyakrita karna dhara jaladho. So, well, I just made it somehow fit the tune, but I don't know if there's another tune for that. So, the translation. The mind is like an impetuous horse that even persons who have regulated their senses and breath cannot control. See, the mind is like an impetuous horse. Impetuous, what is impetuous? Wild, a wild horse. Have you seen a wild horse? I have seen something close to that, because we went to New Zealand, and then in the farm there, one of the devotees had a horse. Apart from cows, there was one horse. And this horse was not completely tamed. It was tamed to an extent, but then it had also these wild tendencies sometimes when it is not in a good mood. And whoa, that can be very, very dangerous in fact. A wild horse is very dangerous. And it will just go like that, and then the person sitting on it, it will just stand on two legs like this, and then the person will just fall off. It's very dangerous, and can just die. If he falls on his neck, finished. And the horse can trample the person. You know how heavy the horse is. It is the best. The horse has the best body, the most muscular, the most proportionate body among all the animals. That's why it can run at such high speeds and for such long periods of time. Prabhupada said that, horse has the perfect physique in animals. So, a wild horse is, very dangerous. I've seen that in 2012 when I went to New Zealand. So, so the mind is like an impetuous horse, completely wild horse. It's not just like sometimes wild, completely all the time wild. And even persons who have regulated their senses and breath cannot control. It's very, very, even if you can control your senses and control your breath, all the pranayama, the yoga. Control means not just for 2 minutes, no. For prolonged periods of time, for thousands of years even, they cannot control the mind. Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi mana Kṛṣṇa pramati balavadrudham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. More difficult than to control the tornado or the whirlwind. So it is very, very difficult to control the mind. Those in this world who try to tame the uncontrolled mind but who abandon the feet of their spiritual master encounter hundreds of obstacles in their cultivation of various distressful practices. This is when you turn the boat against the wind. Without the guidance of a captain, the spiritual master. If you go abandon the feet of the spiritual master, encounter hundreds of obstacles in their cultivation of various distressful practices. O unborn Lord, they are like merchants on a boat in the ocean who have failed to employ a helmsman. So you see, the whole world, they don't have a spiritual master. They don't even understand that there is such a thing as spiritual master. They're just doing so many things that are ruining the world. Hundreds of obstacles, thousands, millions of obstacles. Similarly, even after having attained the mercy of spiritual master, if we go against his instructions again, it's going to be hundreds of obstacles, thousands of obstacles. And that's what is happening today with our so-called Hare Krishna movement in the name of ISKCON. Because they fail to employ a helmsman. The helmsman is the captain. They don't have a captain. So, human life is meant for that purpose. So, if you don't use that, then it's a killing of our own soul. It's a suicidal path. Now, coming back to here. So, if with all these facilities a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha. a killer of the soul. Śrī Īśopaniṣad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance, to suffer perpetually. Okay, just we will go to the Bhagavad Gita to have a similar verse. These are all the Asuri Sampatti, the people who are demoniac. What is their destination? What is their thinking and what is the destination? We will go through that. So we will go through the index. Of course, I can read the Sanskrit, but you know what? It will take a long time because a few verses in line. So here, those who are demoniac, you see 16.6, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So these are the demoniac qualities now. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. This is a very, often quoted verse by Srila Prabhupada. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasura. So those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Is that not what we are seeing in today's context? Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Attracted by the impermanent. They are not attracted to the permanent life, which is spiritual life, kingdom of God. No, they are attracted to this impermanent material world, and they want to be happy in this material world, and they engage in unbeneficial, unclean work. Materially and spiritually unclean. In their thoughts they are unclean, in their deeds they are unclean. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. This is actually more elaborately explained in the 11th canto. We will go there. Maybe we will go there and come back. In actually a few places, but I remember this one. Maybe if you know another one, you can leave it in the comments. 11.5.14. 11.5.14 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yetvanevam vido santah stabdhaha sad abhimaninah pashundruhyanti vishrabdhaha pretya khadanti te chatan. See, those sinful persons who are ignorant of actual religious principles yet consider themselves to be completely pious, without compunction commit violence against innocent animals who are fully trusting in them. In their next life, such sinful persons will be eaten by the same creatures they have killed in this world. They think they are doing some sacrifices, animal sacrifice, and they just kill. Nowadays, no sacrifice, simply kill, eating. So, They proudly perform sacrifices in name only. Okay, sacrifice in name, right? We will go to this. Bhagavad Gita 17:13. Vidhihinam asrishtannam mantrahinam adakshinam shraddha virahitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priests, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. This is their sacrifices. They think they are doing something, but all without proper, rules and regulations. They don't follow anything. So, this is all sacrifice in name only. They don't carry any benefit at all. It's just useless. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. This is so true. Actually, there is a verse. Everything there is a verse, There are so many verses. 10:88. I think 11 maybe. Ato mam suduradhyam hitvanyan bhajate janah tatasta ashute toshebhyo labdharajya shriyodhatah mattah pramatta varadan vismayantyavajanate. Because I am difficult to worship, Kṛṣṇa is speaking, people generally avoid me and instead worship other deities who are quickly satisfied. When people receive kingly opulences from these deities, they become arrogant, intoxicated with pride and neglectful of their duties. They dare to offend even the demigods who have bestowed benedictions upon them. So like that, what is that? Bhasmasura. He wanted to do that. So, they blaspheme against the real religion. They go against the devotees. I think if you go to the next one, Shukadeva Goswami said, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and others are able to curse or bless anyone, or are able to curse or bless one. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are very quick to curse or bestow benedictions, but my dear king, but the infallible Supreme Lord is not. So this is about Vrikasura, the story. Anyway, coming back here, those who are, now this is the important point, 16.19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. That is today's verse. Asuryanamate loka andhena tamasavrita. They enter into hellish worlds, or the worlds of the faithless. This is that verse in the Bhagavad Gita 16.19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into the various demoniac species of life. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. So these are lust, anger and greed, which will make us killers of the soul, killers of our own self. And that's how we go into all this. That's why it is said, the man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains a supreme destination. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So you see how if we don't follow the scriptures like today, so all these verses are mentioned in very short in each Upanishad. So these are Upanishads. Upanishads are short summarizations of very, very elaborate concepts. So first verse is invocation is Supreme Lord is complete. He's all his emanations are complete, and he remains the complete balance even if something is taken from him, or even if Kṛṣṇa is taken out from Kṛṣṇa, he still remains Kṛṣṇa. So that is his position. Then his arrangement is complete. So we have to Īśāvāsamidam sarvam. So we have to accept that arrangement and take whatever is necessary for ourselves, and then leave aside and not covet that property, and use whatever extra we have in service of Kṛṣṇa. And in this way one can go on living for hundreds and hundreds of years without incurring any karma, positive or negative, pious or impious. And in this way he will always be free from the bondage of work. And if we do not follow all these things, then we enter into the worlds of the faithless. So you see how the flow is going. So in 4 verses, all these verses of Bhagavad Gita are. So whatever is in the Īśopaniṣad is more elaborately explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Now Īśopaniṣad has only 18 verses, or with the invocation verse 19 verses, whereas Bhagavad Gita has 700. Srimad Bhagavatam has 18,000. Just imagine. So Mahabharata has 100,000. So the same things are more elaborately explained. So again, coming back to our reading. So Atmaha, Śrī Īśopaniṣad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance, to suffer perpetually. And I think I want to show another one, which is from the purport of Īśopaniṣad mantra 12, which is also in regards to this Atmaha, killer of the soul. If we, as we know, one of the definitions of killing of the soul or Atmahana means to, actually the basis of the whole definition of Atmahana means to stall the progress, the spiritual progress of the soul into higher and higher consciousness, ultimately ending in or culminating in devotional service. So another form of Atmahana or killing of the soul is when I mislead people on the spiritual path. If I become a guru and I mislead the disciples, then that is also Atmahana. And we will quickly go to Srimad Bhagavatam 6:7-14. We have seen this, we will see again, because this is all together, all these verses are together. I hope you are taking notes, because all these things we need to understand the subject. 6.7.14 Bhagavatam. Tesham kupatha deshtrinam patatam tamasi hyadha ye shraddadhyur vachaste vai madhyantya ashmaplava iva. Leaders who have fallen into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction. You see, this is Atmahana. But we are misleading, leaders who mislead. They are misleaders who fall into ignorance and who mislead people by directing them to the path of destruction, as described in the previous verse. So what is that previous verse? It was actually in regards to offending one's spiritual master. Are in effect boarding a stone boat, and so too are those who blindly follow them. A stone boat would be unable to float and would sink in the water with its passengers. Similarly, those who mislead people go to hell and their followers go with them. So this is misleading. This is, instead of the human body is a perfect boat, but here they are offering not the perfect boat but a stone boat, which looks like a boat but it's not a boat. It's a platform of destruction. So Īśopaniṣad mantra 12 says, see here in the end, from here, the pseudo-religionists, from here all the way down, okay? The pseudo-religionists have neither knowledge nor detachment from material affairs, for most of them want to live in the golden shackles of material bondage, under the shadow of philanthropic activities disguised as religious principles. By a false display of religious sentiments, they present a show of devotional service while indulging in all sorts of immoral activities. In this way, they pass as spiritual masters and devotees of God. Then what happens? Such violators of religious principles have no respect for the authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in the strict disciplic succession. They ignore the Vedic instruction or injunction, acharyopasana, one must worship the acharya, And Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam Parampara Praptam, this supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession. Instead, to mislead the people in general, they themselves become so-called acharyas, but they do not even follow the principles of the acharyas. Is this not what we are seeing in ISKCON? And of course, all those bogus conmen gurus, out there, some stupid babas and who are just misleading everybody, all of them fall into this category. As long as we do not worship the bona fide acharya, in our case, Srila Prabhupada, this is basically an Atmahana program, suicidal program, or violent program. It's violence. This is violence. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in human society. Because there is no religious government, they escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita that envious demons in the garb of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest regions of hell. Śrī Īśopaniṣad confirms that these pseudo-religionists are heading toward the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification. Again, the same thing in today's verse, Asurya namate lokam, Atmahana. So, coming back here to the purport, there are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature, because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Very nicely said. See, the hogs, dogs, camels and asses, Swavid Vara Hoshtra Kharai, Samsuta Purusha Pasu. What is that? Jatu Nama Gada Gricha. What is that? Third line. Nayat Karna Patho Peto, Jatu Nama Gada Grijaha. Yes. 2.3.19 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So those who are against God consciousness, they are classified as these four animals. See? So there are these animals whose economic necessities are just as important to them. What is economic necessity? Basically, it's food, shelter. And the most primary, of course, as human beings, we have food, clothing and shelter, but animals have no clothing. Primarily is food. Of course, shelter is also there, but food is the prime necessity of everybody, animals, humans, everybody. Now, those are economic. Economics should be studied and should be followed to the point only when these things are satisfied. Beyond that, economics is just a complete waste of time and human energy. And so much of today's so-called civilization is based on economic status, economic growth. So this is a very unfortunate situation, but economics, according to Vedas, are just meant for a comfortable life and then the rest of the time in self-realization. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasa tattva jigyasa nartho yascheha karma bhe 1.2.10 in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, our desires for economic development should only be to the point of just enough for our maintenance. The rest, whatever we have, should be given to charity and Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and we have to live simply, very, very simply and humbly and engage in self-realization. That is economics. So, the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. Now, food, for example, swine, dogs, camels and asses. I mean, it's a very crude form of life. They have to, sometimes animals have to hunt, sometimes animals have famine, and have to, you have seen those National Geographic documentaries where the Sahara Desert or, even the South American, what is that, Serengeti, the natural wildlife, that sanctuary. All these, the animals walk thousands of kilometers, or the birds, they fly thousands of kilometers in search of better food. When the rains are not there, then they will go all the way. They walk so many, and the risk. And while they're passing, they will pass these lions and all these predators. I mean, very nasty conditions. I mean, we've seen some documentaries of these hunting. Oh, how painful their life is, how they are hunted down, and sometimes, and those that are those that are caught on camera. And just imagine those things that are never caught on camera. I mean, I have seen one place where this zebra was hunted by a group of a pack of a school. I don't know what is the word for a pack of hyenas. So these hyenas, they came and attacked the zebra, and the poor zebra was, he was standing. His side, the stomach was completely ripped open. The intestines, the stomach were all hanging out in red color. And what all organs were coming out, the intestines, the stomach, and I don't know what else was hanging down from the side. And then the animal was broken on one leg, and then bleeding from the neck, and eyes, one eye also popped out. It was horrible. I mean, that is how their life is in animal life. At least in human life, we do have some places where criminal activities are going on and horrible things are also going on. But generally, that is not the way for human beings. Whereas in animal life, that is their way of life. Complete horror, very nasty and unpleasant conditions. So their economics, their economics are full of nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life. Like, what are we given? We are given the chance to farm, to have agriculture, and pleasant, maintain cows and do it pleasantly. Our food program is very pleasant. We do yajna, and the rains come, and then there is crops, and then we can raise, we can have agriculture and cow protection, and this way we can have all our full necessities fulfilled and have time for self-realization. So it's a much better facility than the animal life. Why Kṛṣṇa designed it like that? Because human life is more important and valuable than animal life, because in this life we can solve all these problems of material life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? What is swine? Swine means hog or pig. It is a British way of saying swine. So, and in fact, there was once when Prabhupada was using the word night soil. Even the animals who eat night soil. Then the Americans when the Americans read those, they did not understand what is night soil. Actually, it's stool. But in British English, it is called night soil. A little more nice sounding phrase than saying stool, or nowadays they say other words, but we don't want to say that here. So why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. See, animal business is just to feed their hungry stomachs. That's all they know. But human life is more of a responsibility and therefore better facilities. Just like Prabhupada explained here, why is a government servant or all these higher responsible people, they are given better facility? Because they are of more responsible. Their job is more responsible or more important than an ordinary clerk or somebody. The clerk cannot complain that, you see, I am working very hard. This judge or this man is just having a few phone calls and just managing a few things, and then I am doing the bulk of the hard work, but I should be paid more. No. The CEO or of a company will be paid more, or in the government, the higher post, they will be paid more. So that's because their responsibility is more. Responsibility is what is the thing. It is not about hard work. It is about the responsibility. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals, who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet, the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problems of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach, and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. Actually, even in so-called humanitarianists, they also say like this: it is better to feed the hungry man than to do some puja and chant the names of God. It is better to as they say, they have a saying: helping hands are better than chanting lips. They say like this. So they don't know what is actually help. These fools, the rascals, they don't know what is actually help. The Brahmanas, by their lips, of course, by their hands they distribute prasadam, but by their lips they share knowledge, which is very important. Otherwise, we are completely in ignorance. Our whole suffering is because of not understanding Krishna consciousness. So the Brahmanas, when they preach, they actually solve the problems by their lips. But these people, they don't understand that this is actually the solution. They don't accept. They don't have the Ishavasa conception, heading to the darkest regions of hell. And then they think they are doing the good in this world. Helping hands are better than chanting lips. They come out with these slogans. Nonsense. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment. They want to fulfill their stomachs or fill their stomachs, but now, especially in this COVID-19, how many people? I think in US, 40 million have lost their jobs, and every other country. That's just US. We only get to hear news from the US because it's the most important nation in the world. But if you calculate all the nations of the world, there's so much that has been upset in this period of COVID-19. So even those who have jobs, they are threatened by unemployment. Anytime anything can happen, they can be retrenched or anything. So these things are all, it's in the endeavor of filling their stomach, but then there is, even though they want to do that, they are also threatened by the laws of nature. We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Śrī Īśopaniṣad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asurya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. See that? So the more we go away from God, the more the life becomes hard. Somebody actually, one scientist, biologist, he wrote a post on the social media. He said that this virus COVID-19 is so small that the entire virus that exists on the planet as of now, as we know it, is estimated to weigh, the weight of that virus. If you put all that virus that is infecting all the millions of people and have completely brought this world to a standstill, human civilizations to a standstill. The animals are having a fun time, but the humans have come to a standstill. All that happened because of of how much weight of virus. If you put all those virus and put in one weighing scale, how much it would weigh? 1 gram. 1 gram of virus has put the world to its knees and devastated economies of countries, of powerful nations. Just imagine that. How, just like Hiranyakashipu, he said, this, that, but then Narasimhadev came and one moment he just ripped him apart. So, we are creating all these kinds of security measures, this measure. so much advancement, this, that, so many things we're talking. But then, by the laws of nature, you may say, okay, maybe somebody created the virus in a laboratory or whatever it may be. It was all by the dictation of Mother Nature. Whatever it may be, however it may have happened, whether it's by accident, by eating meat, or by deliberately manipulating the animal virus coming from the animal, whichever way it is. Ultimately, these people are just instruments in the higher laws of nature. So the laws of Mother Nature, you see how by 1 gram of virus, like when we calculate the cost of gold, 1 gram of gold is like, I think it's about $70 in Singapore. I don't know the present cost. I've seen it like months or years ago. Say $70 a gram. Just imagine the cost of this virus. 1 gram, billions, trillions of dollars. So nature's law, with 1 gram, the Maya can completely wipe out our civilization. And what if this virus was far more deadly? What would have happened? Just imagine. So 1 gram of virus, So this is just like a hint. Okay, don't mess around. But people, asura, they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha janana vidurasura. Again they will do the same nonsense after this whole thing is finished. I'm sure that again they will come back to the same rubbish behavior against God, everything. So unlimited sense gratification. Then again they're asking for another either pandemic or war or whatever natural calamity. It will come again. It will definitely come. Bhutva praliyate. Because of the rascal. Bhutva praliyate means repeated destruction. So this will happen because of the lack of God consciousness, atheism. So if we do not care for self-realization, it is said here, the laws of nature force us to work very hard. And now you see, with all this, now governments have to work very hard, people have to work very hard, and then even if they open, it's not going to be fast, it's not going to be smooth, it will take a lot of time, and repeatedly there will be calamities, this way or that way, either this or that. Sometimes it may be a pandemic, sometimes it may be a natural disaster, sometimes it may be a war, sometimes it may be a famine, a drought, whatever. These things will always happen as long as we remain sinful. So nature forces us to work very hard even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like dāsas and bullocks that pull carts. And actually there is a thela. Thela means human-drawn cart. Just like horse cart. It's a human-drawn cart. In India it was there. Now they abolished that. It was there before. It was called a thela. Now they still have those rickshaws, which are also phasing out. They're having these motorized, fuel-powered auto rickshaw they call it. But these things are going on, and that is literally actually like pulling carts like the animals. But even otherwise, we're working very hard. Even though now maybe people are not pulling carts as much as they used to before, but still one has to stand in a jam-packed train or a bus in the morning and rush hour. People have to go. Or if they're driving, they're stuck in a traffic jam, even if they have the BMW. They're stuck and they're frustrated. And all this hard work and everything, all the endeavor, just to get, some food in the mouth. Ultimately, that is what we need. Everything else is just it's not really needed, It's working hard for just like little bit food, which we can easily grow on our land and with cows and some grains, and that's it. We can have this life with vegetables and fruits and flowers. We can live comfortably, but that simple system, they thought that, the Lord's arrangement is not complete, it's not perfect, we will make it complete with industrialization. Nature is good, but we will make it better. Actually, I came across this slogan in one of the, this is the way they think. They say nature is good, but with technology we will make it better. That's what they think. I have read this caption. Who was saying this? Some company, some whatever. I forgot. A few years ago actually. I was thinking of actually writing an article about that one, but I did not. So anyway, they think like this, that nature is good, fine, yeah. Actually they say nature is bad. So we are the ones who are really making it happen. So, but they don't want to say it because if we say nature is bad, all the naturalists will come against us. Nature is good, fine, good. Or we'll make it better. This is what they want to offer. But actually what they're doing is making it worse and worse and worse. Because Purnamada Purna, everything that is Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate, the arrangement is complete by the Lord already. But they don't have the Ishavasya conception. This is why they think it is inadequate. And they want to make it adequate. Or even better than adequate. Luxury. So actually they are making it worse and worse and worse. You have to work harder for that same food which you could have eaten from your own land. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse. You see this, Andhena Tamasavrita, they enter into the darkest regions. So even on this earth, those mines, all those, dark places where you work, even in ships, the place is very dark inside, and it smells bad, it looks bad. Everything is just like, even the factories and everything, it's not a pleasant place to be. It's not actually there's Prabhupada used to say the story of hell. Sorry, we still have some ground to cover, but I'll just say the story. This story is that this preacher, he was trying to preach, and he came to a group of miners. You know what's miners? The mine. They go into the mine and they recover gold or something. They in the ore mines, gold mine or something like that. So these miners, he was preaching to a group of miners. He says, you should not go to hell. If you commit sin, you will go to hell. Then one of them asked, what is hell? What is actually hell? I want to know. Why you're saying don't go there? What is wrong with hell? How does it look like? He said, no, it is very dark. It is very smelly. It is very hot. Then the miners were like, okay, good. They did not feel, oh wow, really? No, they did not feel anything because they were miners. They were already in the dark, in the smelly place, in the hot, everything inside the ground. That is hell? Oh, well, that's not very much different from here, so what is so bad? Then, of course, the preacher became a little bit, he used his presence of mind and he said, in the hell there is no newspaper. Oh, really? There is no newspaper? Oh no, I don't want to go there. So that's how they think. Their life is horrible, but they want a newspaper. If you see the people, what they're tuning into, news, newspaper, reading. Of course, newspaper means there will also be some entertainment sections and this and that, so many things. So they want to read all these things, play crossword puzzles and whatever. They want to read news, sports, this, that, so many subjects. Niranam santi sahasrashaha apashyatam atmatattvam griheshu grihamedhinam. So those who are not interested in self-realization, they will just have thousands of topics to talk about. And none of them are useful topics, and that's what they want to hear. And if they can't hear that, oh, that is really hell. Yes, I don't want to go there. So that's the position. Ma jiva ma mara. Their life is hell. Next life they're going to hell also. Like the Atmahana, the killer of the animal, the butcher. Every day he's just seeing blood and dead bodies, and his whole life is just already hell. And then when he actually dies, he will go to hell. So here is hell, next life is hell. So this is the destination and the current life. Not only the destination, even their path is like that. Their path is almost already having the flavor of their destination. Same, any path will have the flavor of the destination, because as you go closer to a place, you will start to feel the place already. And similarly, one who is on the path of self-realization, Kṛṣṇa consciousness, susukham kartum avyayam, the whole path is very blissful. Even in devotional service itself, the destination, the kingdom of God, Kṛṣṇa Loka, Vaikuntha, is already blissful. But even the path to that, devotional service, is also blissful. So, pratyakshabhagamam dharmyam, you can feel it. You can feel it even while you're carrying it out. While you are in devotional service, it is already blissful. Similarly, those people who are going to hell, their path is also hellish. full of troubles, full of pain, and the destination is off, just the culmination of that pain, complete pain. Okay, in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 41st to 43rd verse, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process, despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with the Lord, with God, is given a chance to appear in the family of Suchi or Shrimat. The word Shuchi includes a spiritually advanced family, advanced Brahmana, and a Shrimat indicates a Vaishya, a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. Now, Prabhupada is explaining the opposite. Those who are on the path of the faithless worlds, Asurya Loka, the planets of the faithless, their life is like this, full of ghastly life. But then, those who are on the path of self-realization, even though they so-called fail, they haven't achieved success. It is explained in the 6th chapter, 41st to 43rd verse, as it is stated there, that they will take birth in better families next life. So even a fallen transcendentalist is not a loser. Whereas an expert materialist is a complete 100% loser. This is why we should not endeavor materially. We should endeavor spiritually, in devotional service. This is what the endeavor should be, not material life. Even perfect materialistic life will yield no result. In fact, we will go to hellish worlds. Whereas spiritual life, even if we have started and have not finished it, success, we are going to the next higher, a better family, a better facility. So, how much it is different, you see, the path and the result. So even if a fallen transcendentalist is so successful, just imagine a successful transcendentalist. Oh, he attains the kingdom of God directly. He goes there never to come back. Yad gatva nani vartante tad dhama paramam mama. He will never come back and enjoy eternal life in the company of Kṛṣṇa. That's why he said, if even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy or aristocratic family, but those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed throughout the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. Show of religion. Yeah, I'm also spiritual, don't think I'm not, don't think I'm just materialistic, no, I'm also something spiritual. No. Their aim is you have to judge the person of what is his aim, ultimately. Is he trying to use that so-called religious aspect of his life to get just artha, and that artha is for his karma? That means artha means economic development. Is he using that prayers and all that to get just some economic development and then use that economic development for his sense gratification? Is that his aim? Or is he praying to Kṛṣṇa like, I don't want anything, I just want to serve you? That is a transcendentalist, not simply one who prays to God, like in a materialistic way, and is not really interested there. His main interest is how to earn money and how to be gratifying his senses in this world. So they may make a show of religion, but ultimately it's just a big colossal hoax. Now, but those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic. Actually, before we go, I want to show this verse. 1:5:17. We have seen this. I think some of you know already. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam harer bhajan napakvotha pate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadram abhudamushyakim kovartha apto abhajatam swadharmatah. So Prabhupada quoted this verse so many times. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet, there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. So, the same thing is echoed here. The Bhagavad Gita 16.17 and 18, we have gone through this Asurya, all that, symptoms of the demons. That same verses are quoted here. The Bhagavad Gita 16.17 and 18 rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant. They are great only on the strength of deception. They are great in the strength of deceiving others, and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras, devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. This is exactly the condition of the materialists. The conclusion is that as human beings we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, like, I cannot even stand properly, that kind of platform. It's a tottering platform. This is a very, very risky platform. Any time it can fail. It is just waiting for failure. And that's what actually happened. You see, our modern civilization, it was built on this so-called strong foundations of science and technology, and 1 gram of virus came and just everything was paralyzed. That's a tottering platform. So imagine if everybody had their own land. You may say there is not enough land on this world. No, that's wrong. There is more than enough land on this planet to feed, as Prabhupada said, 10 times the current world population. Even if the population would increase to 70 billion people, there is enough land to produce food, vegetarian food, not even meat, vegetarian food for all 70 billion. Never it is a problem of inadequacy, because the Lord, Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, He can produce unlimited supplies, and still there is no question of inadequacy. That's completely out of the question. Because they don't understand God, they think there is inadequacy. The inadequacy is because, or the lack of supply. It's not inadequacy. The lack of supply is a deliberate withholding of the supply by the laws of nature because of our lack of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So there is an inadequacy of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, not of the actual supplies themselves. And if we are Kṛṣṇa conscious, by the grace of Kṛṣṇa, everything will be opulent. I will take you to that verse. This is actually there are similar other shlokas also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but I remember this one. So I'll just 1:8:40. See, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 40. Ime janapadaha svriddhaha supakvaushadhi virudhaha vanadrinadyudanvanto hi edhante tava vikshitaihim. See, all these cities and villages, this is Kunti Devi offering her prayers to Kṛṣṇa. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. She is saying to Kṛṣṇa, because Kṛṣṇa, your favorable glance is there, therefore all these real opulence of natural opulences, and everybody is comfortable in their lives, not too much rain, not too less rain, and everything is just perfect and beautiful. The hills, the oceans, the rivers, the ecosystem, everything is so beautiful and natural and full of necessary supplies for human life, and all this is because of your favorable glance. So, if the favorable glance of the Lord is on us, which will be if we engage in His devotional service, everything will be supplied. It's not that in the days of Vedic times they did not have the opulences that we have now. What opulences do we have now? Prabhupada said, now they're eating on paper plates, or now even worse, plastic. In those days, they used to eat on golden plates. Golden plates. Where they got this all from? Because they were very pious and the supply was there. So, the conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Sometimes people think, what will happen to the world if everybody just chants? The whole world will come to a standstill. And what happened now? The whole world is in standstill. And not because everybody is chanting, because everybody is not chanting. That's why the world came to a standstill. If everybody chants, the world will not come. The world, as we know, we have shown that verse, everything will be abundantly available. The grains are in abundance, the vegetables are in abundance, fruits, everything. Rivers, flowing nice, clear water. Everything is in abundance. And we can have everything and engage in self-realization at the same time. So that's so much peaceful life rather than all this, completely life full of anxieties. So we will end this there and we will take questions if there are any. I think there are some questions, I have seen them. Okay, we have quite a few questions. Let's try to run through them as soon as possible, as fast as possible. Virendra Prabhu. Question: there is so much animal killing going on in the world, including cow killing. Are these meat eaters not killers of soul? However, those who fight and kill enemies to protect motherland is considered bravery and honored. Well, okay, good question. So yes, they are killers of the soul because they are halting the progress of that soul. Those who are killing animals. So what about those soldiers who actually kill? They are considered. They're offered bravery awards and honorary awards. What about them? So it is still bad because although the government will reward them with all medals, but because the government is not based on Vedic principles, on the Ishavasya principles, so their understanding of what is good and bad is based on their own sense gratification. So based on their sense gratification, they will go to a war, not based on Ishavasya principle. Whereas previously the kings used to go on a war when there is an actual transgression of religious principle, like Ramayana or Mahabharata. Ram went to war, the Pandavas went to war because there was a religious transgression, and that's why there was a war. But today it is about, this is my land, that is your land, you cannot come into my land, this, that, this. So this is my land, your land. This is not Ishavasya conception. So those wars are not actually the same as the Mahabharata and Ramayana. No, they are not. So these are karma yuddha, wars which take place because of the reactions of karma, and the built up karma will come back on us in the form of wars or this virus, pandemics or whatever it is, natural disasters. So this is on that classification. In that classification, the dharma yuddha. So although they may be honored with bravery awards, not according to the laws of nature though, because they are not in the Ishavasya conception. Only those who follow the Ishavasya conception, that means the universal proprietorship of the Lord. It's not my country, it's not your country. But if you are ruling not according to religious principles, if you are taking them to hell, if you are doing atmahana, if you are interfering with their spiritual progress, yes, then I will wage a war. That used to be the war, the criterion for going to war. And that too not immediately. First there will be kind of talks and everything, and if it escalates to a point where there's no other option but war, first, that's why there, what is that? Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda. So there are all these political maneuvers first. First there is talks and offering of gifts and getting to win over that person and try to settle it as amicably as possible first. If everything fails, then go to war in the end. So that's how Mahabharata also happened. Even Kṛṣṇa himself went to petition on behalf of the Pandavas. He went to the Kauravas, but they were not agreeable. All that. Now the only thing is war. So that is the proper way. But these wars, these bravery awards are not really in line with the Ishavasa conception, and therefore they fall apart. Eventually, those are counted as sins. Ajanya Mataji, question: if our words makes one angry or sad, is it killing? I have some students for home tuition. When they make any mistakes, I will use stick or scold. Some will cry. Is it sin equal to killing? Well, basically, if you want a verse for this, in the 17. See, first of all, anyway, that is part of your job. Sometimes children will, need some reprimanding. So that's another thing. But again, that's just teaching them some education. So that's on a different thing. We're talking about spiritual education. So here, 17.15 Bhagavad Gita. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech consists of speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. So in the purport, one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students, but such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. So in teaching there will be some kind of disciplining involved, so that is there. But then again, that is your tuition, your work, so that's another thing. But especially while preaching, so it is not, of course, killing. It is not killing. Some disciplining needs to be there, but otherwise the children will be, all over the place. But Satyam Bruyat Priyam Bruyat, as the saying goes. One has to speak truth and speak it pleasingly, pleasurably, not agitatingly. But sometimes people are agitated by the truth. What is that? Chanakya Pandit said that payapanam bhujanganam kevalam vishavardhanam upadesho hi murkhanam prakopaya nashantaye. So he said that if you give instruction to a fool, he will not be interested, he will not take any benefit from it. In fact, he will get angry, he will get agitated by such instruction or such advice. And therefore, sometimes we have to meet these kind of people, in the course of our preaching. We sometimes have to meet people, and then sometimes they're agitated. What can be done? That's part of preaching. As far as possible, of course, we will try our best not to agitate, but then sometimes you don't think it will agitate, but they will agitate. That's just, if somebody's ego is so big, then he's easily agitated. If one is humble, he's not agitated. He will take it in the positive way. Yes, okay, I have to learn. So, but if I'm not, if my ego is too huge, then the slightest advice, even not even reprimanding, even just like an advice, one cannot take it at all. So this is murkha, this is foolish behavior. It is not. It also depends on how the student takes it. So if the ego is too high, then even an instruction which is otherwise beneficial will agitate him. Although the teacher doesn't like to agitate. Actually, there is a nice story in the life of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, 12th chapter of his life. The 12th chapter in the biography book of his life, where I'll just briefly tell it. So, this man, he came to him. I think I have told this many times, and some of you might already know the story. So, this man, he came to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji and for instruction about Kṛṣṇa consciousness. But he heard some harsh words from him, and then he thought, I will never talk to this man, this sadhu again. He's scolding me. He's using these harsh words which are so painful. I can't take it. Then he left, and after a few months, did you hear that thunder? It's raining heavily here, so it's quite loud. So the harsh words of the sadhu may feel like that, like a thunder, like big sound. So, so he went away. And that is one of the symptoms of a devotee. Vajradapi kathora, kusumadapi kamala. Harder than the thunderbolt, but softer than the rose. Two aspects of the devotee's characteristics or character. He is hard, Actually, he's not hard. He will explain now. Kṛṣṇa Babaji will explain the whole thing. So, that person left his association. Then after a few months, he came back. Then Kṛṣṇa Babaji asked, "Oh, you have come back?" "Yeah, I went away because I came for some instruction in Krishna consciousness, but then I heard these harsh words and I couldn't tolerate those words, and I thought of doing my own on my own devotional service without having any sadhu sangha. But it has become very difficult to do that, and so I have come back again in hope for Krishna conscious advice." Then Kṛṣṇa Babaji said, "You want advice? Let me tell you this, that ordinary materialists, day and night, they are working for their families, for their wives, their children. They are working hard day and night. And every day, still the children, the family members, they rebuke him. Oh, you have not done this, you have not done that for the family, you have not done this, still so many complaints. And all those harsh words, he takes it and still doesn't leave them because of his attachment for them. Until the end of life, he is with them. Even though he's trying his best. And still they come at him, and then still he doesn't leave them. But here, when he meets a saintly person who speaks seemingly harsh words aimed at the Maya that is haunting that materialistic person, in order to dispel the Maya, he speaks harsh words for his own benefit, for the benefit of that person. But then the person takes the sadhu as an enemy. He considers him an enemy and never wishes to see him for his entire life. Then he went on saying that sadhus who speak such harsh language are the real friends, because they really care for you. They really care for your advancement. They don't flatter you. If they flatter you, they will just keep you in this material world. But when they correct you, they are opening the doors of Vaikuntha for you. So, the words of the sadhu, just like a sorcerer, a ghostbuster, sometimes the tantric, he will shout at that person who is haunted by ghosts. He will shout, "Get out from there! Now I tell you, get out!" He will shout at the person. But he is not shouting at the person who is affected by the ghost. He is shouting at the ghost. But of course, he looks at the person who is haunted by the ghost. So, the same way, when a sadhu does uses seemingly harsh words, actually a sadhu just says it, but for that person it's very harsh, because the ego. So, it's very harsh on him, and it's not actually directed at him. It is directed at that Maya which is haunting like a ghost, and because of which the ego is so big and crushes that ego, crushes that Maya. And if the devotee can take that and understand that it is actually removing my Maya, and it is not hate towards me. A sadhu operates not from a platform of hate. No, ichha dvesha, both are not there for the sadhu. A devotee, he does not praise somebody because he likes him, or chastises somebody, or criticizes somebody because he hates him. No, he always wishes well for everybody. But just like a parent, if the child does something wrong and a parent just allows it, "Oh, my child, you are such a sweet boy. You have stolen this thing from the neighbor's house. Oh, you are such a gem of a person." If the parent says that, what will happen to the child when he grows and becomes an adult? He will become a first-class bank robber, or like really high-tech robber. That will be the end result. So it's just feeding the venom, feeding the milk to the snake, increasing the venom. So if the mother says, "What is this nonsense? Come on," and then beat the child, once, and then ask, "Go, give it back to the owner now, give it back to the neighbor now," then he will remember for the rest of his life the tight slap that he got. I remember so many tight slaps that I got from my parents, and I can't forget those lessons because I received those tight slaps. It hurts. It definitely hurts, but in the long run, it is very, very beneficial. So we should. This is something which I see among devotees also who are not very experienced. They can't take chastisement. They can't take correction. They can't take something which is beneficial for them. And that is a dangerous platform to be in. We have to always invite. In fact, it will be good if every day morning we can pray to Srila Prabhupada and Kṛṣṇa, please get some Vaishnava to chastise me today. I want to hear some chastisement so that I can correct something which I have been doing wrong all the way. So that I can go one step forward in my devotional life. If we can pray like this, that will be. What is the meaning of, beating the mind 100 times in the morning with the shoes and beating with the broomstick 100 times in the night? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this. What does that mean? To beat our mind, chastise our mind. Hey, Dushtaman, tumi kiser Vaishnav? Tumi kiser Vaishnav? Pratishthartare, nirjaner ghare, tava harinam keval kaitav. You just want adoration, you just want the praise from everybody, and you are not interested in devotional service. This is you're just a cheat. You're just a charlatan devotee. So in this way, he is chastising his mind. So if we don't have the power to chastise our own mind like that, then let us pray. May some devotee chastise me today. Because it is hard to chastise ourselves because we are too, Abhimana, the self-pride, the pride that we have in ourselves. We think we are like the best devotees, we are best ever, we are the best devotees the world has ever seen, So the ego is so swelled that we can't take chastisement. So we should pray, please, Prabhupada, Kṛṣṇa, please let some devotee chastise me today. That will be a good prayer. That is a good prayer, actually. And if we can take chastisement like that, we will be gems. The devotee will become a gem. And Sundar Gopal Prabhu always used to tell us this. Whenever he chastises us in the beginning, after that, then he again gives us beneficial instructions. And then he will say this example that sandpaper is rough. But a gem is made polishing and shining. Because when you get it from the ore, the gem is not like shining and wow. No, it looks horrible. It looks dull. So when the sandpaper thing is done, and then finally the gem shines like anything. Wow, this is so smooth, this is so nice, so shining. But how did it become like that? Because of the sandpaper. Now the sandpaper rubbing is not very nice to feel. When you rub sandpaper on your skin, what will happen? But that will make us a gem, a shining gem of a devotee. So we should always invite these things. These are actually blessings in disguise. And actually I want to do a series of all the instances, all the stories in the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita of chastisement. It's just something I'm thinking. But my memory with stories is not so good if you know me well enough. So I don't remember the exact details of each story sometimes. That's why I want to brush up all those and then maybe make a series of chastisement. So that will be a good series because it is important for us to invite this criticism, especially as devotees. Okay. Well, that's a long answer, but I wanted to keep it short, but it just goes. Then Virendra Prabhu's question: Mam plus Ansh, Mansh. In this birth you kill me, in your next birth I shall kill you. When you take birth as animal, is it true? Not every time. Not every time it's true, because some are just climbing in the evolutionary cycle, but some are human beings who have killed animals and who take birth as animals. So not every time. That's why you see there are so many animals in the wild. They are not killed, but the animals that are reared in in farms and sent for slaughterhouses, they are killed. So these are all souls who have eaten animals before. Now they are killed. Ajanya Mataji. Actually, the mode of consciousness determines the person's varna, is it? Yes. the general overarching mode of that person. Not that today he's in this mood of a Brahmana and today is a Brahmana and tomorrow he feels like a Kshatriya and therefore he's a Kshatriya and suddenly he feels like a Shudra and then he is a Shudra. Not like this. The general aptitude of the person, not the fluctuating moods day by day or minute by minute. Those mood swings don't define a person, but the general kind of attitude or the aptitude, the guna and karma that define the person's character, those are the ones which determines the person's varna. Ajanya Mataji, if our body affected by some health issues, is it due to our karma? Yes. Then how the physician can help us to cure it? Is the physician sharing his punya in the form of his knowledge about medicines? Can you understand, and Prabhu, what I asked? Yes, I do understand. So yes, it is definitely karma. But then there is also Ayurveda, which is the medicine. But then again, the medicine will not work without the sanction of the Lord. Because the same treatment, two persons take and one person recovers and some person does not. Right? Or some person takes it longer and some person takes it shorter. So therefore, even in Ayurveda, Prabhupada mentions in one of his purports that Aushadhi chintayet Vishnu. So the Aushadhi means the Aushadham means the medicine. The person who is taking the medicine, the Aushadhi, he has to think of Vishnu when he is taking it. So the prayer should be that this medicine will only work if you want it to work, otherwise it is not going to work. So I just oh, my iPad crashed. Okay, well, that's weird. Everything is just crashed. My iPad also crashed. I didn't expect that to happen. Okay, let me see. I'll just disconnect and connect it for a while. Okay, it still crashed. Okay, I think the iPad also wants me to stop the class. You know what? So anyway, we will continue. Yeah, this Vishwamitra Prabhu has quoted a nice verse here. We will put that on the screen. Chanakya Pandit is saying this. Lalane bahavo doshas, tadane bahavo gunaha. Tasmat putram cha shishyam cha, tadayen nanu lalayet. Okay, my iPad is gone. So, pampering, again we'll put that on the screen, sorry. Pampering a subordinate will increase his faults. And chastising him will increase his good qualities. So, a teacher should chastise a student and a father should chastise a child, not pamper them unduly. Chanakya Pandit. So, this is what we need to understand. Okay, now iPad seems to be working now. Okay, good. Let's see if it can be put on the screen. Let's see. Oh. So, going to the next question. What was the question? Did I even? Yeah, so the medicine. Oops. Sorry about that. So, it's just behaving a little weird because it's tired, I think, from the class. Okay, good. So, I have kind of chastised the iPad so that it has listened and come back to the screen. So, chastisement is good, So, so yeah, when he gives the medicine, it's again, I wanted to show this verse by Prahlad Maharaj. It's only on the will of the Supreme that the medicine will act. Although there is a medicine, but then it will only act if Kṛṣṇa wills so. But then we can take a medicine, of course. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro narsimha nartasya chāgadamudhanvanti majjato nauha taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja sheshtas tavad vibhota nubhritam tvadupekshitanam My Lord Narasimhadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. So ultimately, it depends on the will of the Lord. But then it is said that we can take medicine, we should take medicine and not disturb the Lord unnecessarily. Oh, save me from this disease, save me from that. We should take whatever. So the Lord has already given, what will reduce the disease. Again, if He wills, if His karma allows again. So we should take His direction and take the medicine. Okay, fine. Just get your body back in order, engage in service. So again, so Virendra Prabhu question. You said about Atmahana. Do atheists, communists, demons, demigod worshippers are Atmahana since they are not Krishna conscious? Yeah, they are. Vijay Sharma Prabhu. Do the different yugas also happen on the different planets? Example, does Kali Yuga happen on the sun planet? In which case there might be a reduction of devotees during that period on the sun planet. Okay. The yugas do happen, but not in the way that they happen on earth. So the difference in heavenly planets and earthly planets is that in the heavenly planets, in Kali Yuga, for example, now there are no yajnas that are going on. In previous yugas, the yajnas used to happen and then the demigods used to get their share of the yajnic performances by the people on the earth and other planets, lower planets. So that they will not receive. So their material enjoyment or their that share of sacrifice that they would get is lesser. And then they are starved like that. Not starved exactly, but it is a lesser amount of sense gratification for them. But they are all devotees still, but just that the effect of Kali Yuga is lesser in the higher planets, but it is still there. They don't receive their share of sacrifices. Just like Yudhishthir Maharaja's sacrifice, Rajasuya Yajna, the demigods came down all the way here to attend his ceremony. But now the Brahmanas are not qualified, the Kshatriyas are not qualified, nothing is qualified. Everybody is just like very dirty. No purification, no purity here. So they are not interested to come here and there is no share of sacrifice, there is no sacrifice. So they just a bit, I would say not so, happy about the whole situation. It's like that. The wives of the demigods though, they prayed to Lord Buddha to come in Kali Yuga so that he will stop this Vedic, sacrifices. Nindasi yajna vide rahaha shruti jatam. Because of the yajna process being stopped, the demigods won't go so that they can have their husbands always with them. So they prayed for Kali Yuga to come quickly on earth, so they can have their husbands to themselves. So otherwise they have to always go out and attend these ceremonies in different planets and all that. So these things are going on. So, but still they are not devotees. It's not exactly a reduction of devotees there. You can't go urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. So in the higher planets, you have to be in the sattva gun. If you are too much in the rajogun, you will be condemned. Like for example, Narad Muni. You know how Narad Muni became a Sudrani's son? In fact, the Sudrani, the mother of Narad Muni, did not know who. There was no mention of who the father was. Just the mother and the son. That means she was like that kind of woman. She was, low grade Sudrani. So Narad Muni was born of that Sudrani. But why? You know what his previous life was before he was a Shudra's son? He was actually a Gandharva. He was in the heavenly planets. Gandharvas are very, very good singers. Exceptional singers in the heavenly planets. So, as a Gandharva, he was glorifying the nature. He was not singing anything bad, like even in the nowadays songs are full of the vulgar words and bad words. So it was not that kind of song. It was just about nature, and the demigods condemned him. What nonsense you are singing? Why are you not singing about Kṛṣṇa? What is this nature? All this? Where is Kṛṣṇa in this? Get out! You don't deserve to be a Gandharva. You be born as a Shudra. They cursed him. He was cursed to become a Shudra, being a Gandharva, because he did not sing about Kṛṣṇa. So Surayaha. Surya means devotees. All the demigods, they are all devotees. It's not that there will be any reduction in the devotees there, but it's just that they will not receive the share of the sacrifice. That's what happens in the heavenly planets. Virendra, question, Virendra Prabhu. Is Maya the wind which acts against the sail or boat of bhakti which makes us cross material ocean? No. Maya is not the wind which acts against the sail or boat of bhakti. No. The wind is only one direction, towards the kingdom of God, towards Vaikuntha. Why we feel it against is because we are turned against. We want to go this way, to this shore. We want to go back to our material shore. We don't want to go to the other shore, which is the spiritual world. So that's why that turning of us, the 180 degrees turn, that is Maya. But Maya also is towards Kṛṣṇa only, because the punishments that she gives is for our benefit, so that we may be eventually purified and come to the point of understanding that I shouldn't go this way in the path of sense gratification, I should go towards Kṛṣṇa. So that's why it is against us. But the same Maya will become Yoga Maya if one goes towards, if one faces towards the kingdom of God. The same wind will help him go forward. Whereas if he turns against the same wind, but it will go against him. So Maya is not exactly an opposite force, although it is sometimes treated as like that. But Maya, Durga, is actually a servant, a maid servant of Kṛṣṇa. So a prison warden, he punishes the prisoners. It's not that he's against the government's mission. He's also a part of the government only. He's punishing because they have gone against the law. So it is us going against the instructions of Kṛṣṇa, which is why we feel that wind is against us, and all these calamities that happen in Maya, in this material world, all the distresses that happen, is not because of anything else. It's because we have turned 180 degrees from the Lord. That's why we face it. And Maya is actually the against wind. But actually it's the same wind. If we just turn this way towards the kingdom of God, the same wind will actually help us go towards Kṛṣṇa. So she turns into Yoga Maya then. The same Maya will become favorable. Like for example, a materialist, when he loses somebody or when something untoward happens, like Prabhupada's example in his life, he lost a business. He was cheated by his manager and he lost the business. Now, an ordinary person would go into depression or would be very, 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 depressed with the whole thing, in distress. But Prabhupada was encouraged. Why? Because he thought, Kṛṣṇa has removed my material attachments. Now I can fully think of, preaching and, he has removed my material attachment for this. Although he wanted to do that business to get money to print books and, expand the movement. That was his intention. But still, he said, maybe this was an attachment that Kṛṣṇa wanted to cut away. So he has cut away my last attachment. Now I can just concentrate on preaching and let Kṛṣṇa supply me whatever money or whatever is required for preaching. So just depend on Kṛṣṇa. So he took it as an encouragement. A materialist would take the same thing as a discouragement. So it's not something different that would happen. It's the same thing. But because the devotee's orientation is different, it is towards the Lord, therefore everything becomes favorable. Even the worst calamity, it is only a calamity when we are against the wind. But if we go with the wind, it's not a calamity. In fact, it will be a greater boost. Suppose there is a storm this way, or heavy wind this way against us. That is a heavy thing to face. But if we are this way, and the same wind will accelerate our progress towards the kingdom of God, that's more than welcome. More than welcome, right? So that's how a devotee takes so-called calamities, because his orientation is towards Kṛṣṇa, and therefore those calamities become even greater boosters of his spiritual life, spiritual practice, than the so-called happy times which are less intense. So Ajanya Mataji is asking, added to her question, I mean, if a person is suffering, someone will come to help him. I think he can help the suffering person because he is less sinful than the suffering person. Is it right? Well, not exactly. I don't say the doctors are very pious. Sometimes they have to. For example, what is that? Woman doctor? What is it called? Gynecologist, yeah. He would commit so many abortions, especially in Kali Yuga. So that's not very really pious. And he may be a meat eater, so not pious again. So it is just a process. It is just a process that is there in the medical process. The doctors, teachers, if farmers, politicians, social servants can help to reduce the suffering of person, even if for short duration of time, because they are less sinful than the suffering person. Is it right, or is it more a mental speculation? It's more on the side of mental speculation because they are not pious or anything. It is just a process that is given, but if we follow it perfectly, then results will be perfect. If we don't follow it perfectly, then the results will be imperfect. And it also depends on our karma. It depends on our karma. Even if the doctor is completely pious, but if my karma is not good, he cannot help me. It is not that he is transferring some of his karma, not like that. It's not exactly. Each is suffering. What is that? Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. What is that? Yastvindra mathavendra mahosva karma swakarma bandhano rupa phalabhajana matanoti. Everyone from Indra to the Indra Gopa insect, all are just, we are all suffering our own karmas. It is not that one karma is bleeding over to another's karma. No. Virendra Prabhu, if demoniac sinful quality people are increasing in Kali Yuga, then how can devotees preach Krishna consciousness and increase bhakti in this world? That is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Patita Pavan Hetu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is to preach to the fallen and deliver the fallen. Jagai Madhai. So his Harinam, that's why the name of Krishna is so powerful. Patakam Patake Naraha. The holy name can, save us from all the sins that we have committed and possibly commit in the future also. So the holy name is so powerful. So that's why spreading of the Sankirtan movement is the most effective and the most powerful way that people can be rid of their sins. So therefore Sankirtan movement has to be done. Preaching has to be done. Ayappa Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, does Saivites are Mayavadis? I mean, there are many sects of Shaivism like Nayanmars. Are they considered that God is Shiva and he is only in form? Well, mostly Shiva's followers become Mayavadis because they adhere to Shankaracharya's philosophy. But then some people also believe Shiva is God. Basically, they are confused. They do not know for sure because they don't have conclusive knowledge from the Vedas, from the Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of the Vedas. So, their understanding is faulty. Anybody who doesn't take Krishna consciousness from the authorized parampara system, then his understanding is always clouded with doubts and with unclear understanding, all these things. So some are Mayavadis, some think Lord Shiva is God, something everybody is God. So these things are there. Actually, this is mentioned. There are different classes of people. What is that? Yeah, 9th chapter. I think it's okay. Let us start with 13. Okay, 9:13 is Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashrita Bhajantananya Manaso Gyatva Bhutadim Avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So these are devotees. Then they also chant Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dridavratah Namastantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Now, next verse. Jnana yagyena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahudha vishvato mukham. These are the other kinds of people who have different conceptions of God. You see, others, anye, who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. So they are impersonalists, they are also in the universe, the universe, they think the universe is God or in the universal form. They Advaitam, one without a second, like Advaitam, all these Mayavadis, they come into and diverse in many, that they think all are God. Ganesh is God, Shiva is God, Durga is God, Krishna is God, everybody is God. So these kind of imperfect understandings are there, and such worshippers are there. So Shaivites sometimes fall into multiple of these categories. Anybody who is not a Vaishnava, a pure Vaishnava, sometimes even I see Vaishnavas contaminated with demigod worship. That means they are not following the Vaishnava principles properly. So pure Vaishnava, he does not become bewildered in this way. Okay, next question, Ayappa. So all disciples of ISKCON and Gaudiya Math are fake and fake cult people would go to hell. Is there any punishment in Garuda Puran? What punishment they would receive? I don't know. That statement of Īśopaniṣad is there, and Bhagavatam 6.7.14 is there. What kind of punishment exactly? I don't know. But as long as the destination is hell, it's not going to be good. So that's why we should understand that we should not mislead people. We should follow ourselves honestly and guide others in also the same way. Virendra Prabhu, why in the beginning devotional service churns out halahal or poison in the form of lethargy, anarthas that manifest in execution of bhakti, but gradually a devotee starts experiencing nectar and happiness by his execution of bhakti in latter stages? Because anarthas are there, no? Those anarthas are blocking, So all that, just like gold, when you take it from the ore, it is not shining, it's not anywhere as attractive as it is in the jewelry shop. So, but chemical process, the whole process of cleansing has to happen. So Chaitodharpana Marjanam. So as we, in the beginning, we have all these anarthas or dirty things, unwanted things that are hindering our progress, and that's why we experience all this lethargy or whatever it is. So, but by attentively chanting, then all these things will go. And also serving Vaishnavas and serving their instructions. So these things actually help us in cleansing our heart. So in that way we will get purified more and more and more. And hearing and chanting, all these things have to be done. Otherwise we will go back into Maya. In the latter stages, of course, as one becomes more and more purified, the affection for the Lord, everything, the enthusiasm for devotional service, everything increases. Is it an exam or illusion? Exam of illusion? Yeah, we will be tested in our devotional progress. Yeah, it is a kind of exam. So we have to pass it. We have to always keep in association of devotees, then we will pass. Wow, still so many questions. Ajanya Mataji, if one is simply chanting Harinam full time with chanting only, can one person attain Vaikuntha? Yes, but we are not qualified. We are not on that level. Namagane Sadaruchi, we cannot. That's why Prabhupada stipulated 16 rounds, because we are not qualified. If we were qualified, Prabhupada would have said now 192 rounds. But we are not qualified, like Haridas Thakur, or even 64 rounds. Who can chant steadily? Maybe 1 day, 2 days, after that his mouth will pain, Mouth will pain. In fact, it is said, without advancement, if one tries to chant so much, then the pitta increases, one will become sick actually, because he is not chanting out of, So, therefore, artificially we can't do these things. It has to be coming from within, and we can't do every day, whole day. So, therefore, Kṛṣṇārthe akhila cheshta. Different kinds of engagements in Krishna's service. Sometimes chanting, sometimes reading, sometimes cooking, sometimes sweeping, sometimes preaching, book distribution, deity worship. In this way, so many different ways. Kṛṣṇārthe akhila cheshta. Different different kinds of services. Engagements in Krishna's service. Virendra Prabhu, can you define self-realization and how to attain it? Well, to understand one is not the body and is the soul, to understand that he is a servant of Kṛṣṇa, and to engage in the service of Kṛṣṇa. That is self-realization. In short, because I want to be short, because that's a huge topic, it can be elaborated to any length. The whole Vedas is full of self-realization, but in short, this is the thing. You have to understand that we are not this body, disassociate ourselves from the material idea, a conception of our existence. So I am the soul, and then what is the soul? So when we are thinking that we are the body, we are thinking in terms of our nationality, our race, our family. And once we come out of that, so now what I am related to? Okay, now I am related to Kṛṣṇa. That is the next. Next, to engage in that relationship, in actual serving Kṛṣṇa. And then finally achieving love of Godhead, which is the prayojan. which is the aim of the whole thing. So that is self-realization in a nutshell. Krishna Smaranam Prabhu, this material sense gratification ideas was created to prevent worship of God. So I will now walk the dog. Yeah. So if one engages in sense gratification, he walks the dog life, and if he engages in Krishna consciousness, he walks the God's life, godly life. Harsh Gupta, how to stop overthinking. How to stop overthinking? To have knowledge. Because, and I don't know if you know the story of the donkey who died of not being able to make a decision. This donkey was here. 100 yards to his left was, a pile of grass, hay. And on the 100 yards here, another pile of grass. Now he was thinking, which way should I go? This way or this way? Or this way or this way? Maybe if I go this way, will there be more food that way? After I eat all this grass, maybe will there be more food there, or will there be more food this side? How is the weather on that side? Maybe that will become, if I go that way, maybe there will be a drought, or there will be famine, or will there be rain there or here? In this way he was analyzing. Basically, he was analyzing until he died. He did not eat. He was just analyzing and died. The donkey died because of indecisiveness, because overthinking. So we overthink because we don't know what is the truth. So we just have to know the truth and walk the path of truth. Now, once we get information from Krishna, from Bhagavad Gita, from a pure devotee, then we know what to do. Just do it. What to overthink about? Chant Hare Krishna. Start your chanting. Chant. Read every day. That's why there is nothing left to our thinking anymore. It is just a process given to us into our hands, spoon fed by the Acharya. Just take it. Just take it. We have the Harinam, we have the 4 regulative principles that we have to follow, we have the association of devotees, we have the scriptures, we have everything. We just have to hold on to that, rope of devotion. Then that's it. Our success is guaranteed. We just have to hold that. Why overthinking? Overthink happens when we are in doubt. And for the doubting soul, there's happiness nowhere and no perfection. You know that verse, right? 440 of Bhagavad Gita. Agyas chashraddha dhanascha samshayatma vinashyate nayam lokoste naparo nasukham samshayatmanaha. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So that is overthinking. So animal killing is sin, then plants kill how, Prabhu? Okay, I understand your question. So he's asking, animal killing is sin, what about plant killing? Is that also not sin? So yeah, it is sin. So unless we offer it to Krishna, it's not piety. So everything is sin. Of course, Prabhupada also said that it is not as grave a sin as killing animals, because the tena tyaktena bhunjita, human life, the food meant for us is plants. But then again, if we eat those plants in the mood of sense gratification, then that is still sin. That's why in the chapter 3, text 13, it is said, Yajna Shishta Shanasanto. We have to offer it to Krishna, and then eat the prasadam, and that is sinless food. Now if somebody says, so that's good, okay, I will offer meat to Krishna and I will eat, that is prasadam meat. No. Krishna said in the 9th chapter 26th verse, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So in these categories, in the vegetarian category, leaf, flower, fruit, water, in this way, then I will eat. He did not say meat. If he said, that would have been a different thing, but he did not say it, so we can't eat it. We can't offer meat to Krishna. We can only we can offer only vegetables to Krishna. And also milk. He showed by his own example how he ate butter, how he ate yogurt, how he drank milk. So milk and vegetarian food, that is what needs to be offered to Krishna. So without without prasadam, everything is sin, even plants or animals. Then Krishna Smaranam Prabhu, question. I understand that the soul from the monkey, cow and lion next appearance will be in the womb of ignorance, goodness and passion. What is the understanding of the particular mode appearing in the human of ignorant, good and passion nature? Okay, what happens to it? Okay, wait. Let me understand the question. I understand that the soul from monkey, yes, next life they will get a human form in ignorance, passion, goodness or passion. What is the understanding of the particular mode appearing in the human form or in the appearing in the human of ignorant, good and passion nature? Well, I don't really understand the question. What is the understanding of the particular mode appearing in the human of ignorant and... Well, there are symptoms of, all the symptoms are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. What are the symptoms of an ignorant person in the mode of ignorance, passion and goodness? So, okay, for those of you who do not know what he's talking about, the first part I understand. So, Prabhupada said this, that there must have been some Shastric references. Like the souls go from one body to the next, to the next, to the next higher. So, when they come to the human form of life, they come from three particular animals. That means in the previous life there were three animals. So the cow in the next life you will get the body of a human being in the mode of goodness. The lion in the next life he will get a human body in the mode of passion, and the monkey will get next life a human body in the mode of ignorance. So this is something that was told by Prabhupada. Definitely there would have been some Shastric references, but I do not know if there is I do not know any shloka in my knowledge. Maybe somebody would know, but this is there. But the other part of the question I don't really understand. I'm very sorry about that. Krishna Smaranam Prabhu asks again, what happens to a ship with 100 captains? Well, they are not captains. They are. It's mayhem. It's a mayhem. That's not. If everybody becomes a captain, then the boat will capsize. So a ship or a boat with 100 captains capsizes. So, as I say, what is that? Too many cooks, too many chefs spoil a dish, something like that. That's what will happen. So of course, we can have Shiksha Guru, many Shiksha Gurus, and one Diksha Guru, but those are not exactly many captains, because they all guide us in the same way. That is not many captains. But if each is directing us in their own ways, yes, then the boat will capsize. Well, Ayyappa Prabhu, okay. If we get suffering from materialistic people, does our karma gets reduced? Yes. So with each suffering, with each enjoyment, just like Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam kshine punye martilokam vishanti. So when one commits pious activities, he goes to the heavenly planets, and after exhausting his results of piety, he will come back to this earthly planet. Similarly, if one commits sinful activities, he will go to the hellish planets, he will exhaust his sinful reactions and again come back slowly in the evolutionary process in the animals and all the way to the humans again. So, yeah, when we suffer something, that means that result of that karma is experienced and gone, that is reduced by that one reaction. So each time we experience something, happiness or distress, it's a reduction of karma. But if we keep on sowing more and more seeds of karma, we are on the unending cycle of karma, chain of karma. So we have to stop further sowing of seeds of karma. So therefore we have to engage in devotional service now, so that we are free from this chain of karmic reactions. And as Prabhupada said, when you switch the fan off, then it will still keep on turning until it comes to a halt. So, but if the current and electricity, I said electricity, okay. If the electricity is still on, if the electricity is still coming into the fan, it will keep on turning. So we have to stop the switch. So that means to stop the karma means to engage in devotional service. Then only we can stop the karma. That's why in the second verse it was Kurvan neveha karmani jijivishe chatam sama. If we evam tvai nanyathetauste na karma lipyate nare, na karma. So if we work in the Ishavasya conception, the universal proprietorship of the Lord, and everything for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, if we think like this and work like this, then yes, we have stopped the switch of further karmic reaction, and the fan will turn, yes, for a while, and then after that it will stop. It will become slower and slower and slower and slower. So like that, our karma will keep on reducing, our reaction, our experiences of karmic reactions will reduce and completely come to a standstill completely. Okay, how to stop overthinking an unsteady mood? Yeah, basically you have to unsteady mood. So chant Hare Krishna, become established in devotional service, then all these things can be easily, handled. Harsh Gupta, he again added, how to stop overthinking and unsteady mood in mind. Yeah, so we have covered that. Gaurav Prabhu, he's asking, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, related to question about Shiva, do devotees of Shiva reach Shiva Loka outside this material world? Well, not exactly. Not many worshippers of Lord Shiva actually are on that platform where they can go to Shiva Loka, because those in the mode of ignorance, it is said in the second chapter, second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, third chapter, verses 2nd to 7th, and also in other places also, Prabhupada mentioned that those in the mode of ignorance, they worship Lord Shiva. So basically these people, they are demons, in the mode of ignorance. You won't go to anywhere near Sadashiva Loka also, so they want their material benefits, they are not really pure hearted. Very, very few actually go to the Sadashiva Loka. Majority of them just want material benefits, so they don't go there. They are in a, and you see how those Vrikasura, he wanted to get his benediction of whomever he touches, they will become ashes. So in this way, they pray to Shiva for all these kinds of ulterior motives. Ravana, he was praying to Lord Shiva. Only if one prays sincerely to Lord Shiva, and eventually by his mercy, Lord Shiva's mercy, he will be directed to Vaishnavas who will elevate him to Vaishnavism, to worship of Lord Vishnu. But those with materialistic desires, they will just be in the material world. So Harsh Gupta's next question, how to get absorbed in your goal? First of all, get your goal clear first. Goal of life should only be to reach Kṛṣṇa. Nothing else should be your goal. If your goal is anything different, then you're asking for trouble. You will. There's no point in even being focused on that goal, because it's just going to hell. So first of all, our goal has to be defined. Our goal should only be, the entire goal of human life is to go back to Kṛṣṇa. So we should not have any other goal first of all. And then you take guidance from the Acharya, from the devotees, and how to progress on this path. That is how you should do it. Then you will be absorbed, Alright, so thank you very much. That was a very, very long session. But thank you all for sticking by, and I'm sorry for that confusion in the beginning of the link becoming expired and all that. So I will make sure it doesn't happen. So from tomorrow onwards. Alright. Thank you very much. Śrī Īśopaniṣad ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.